and welcome to Dating is a Joke. I'm Diana Barbosa, and this is the show where we take dating so seriously that we laugh about it. Today, I have Kristin Doucet, who recently, a major milestone, graduated from a MILF to a Cougar. Congratulations, Kristin.
Thank you so much, Diane. I'm very proud of that accomplishment. I really am.
Now, the one thing that you should be very proud of is, Kristin, I hear that the show that you're putting on, which is a Cougar show, is sold out.
Yes, it's sold out in a week, which just goes to show that there really is a need for Cougar level comedy in this city. It's a Cougar comedy night, but we have called it Mama Needs a Drink. Like, I don't think you need to explain that any further. So it is sold out, but we are looking at doing another one at Comedy Bar West in February. So if anyone wants to follow me on Instagram at Kristin Doucet, we'll be posting about that soon.
Yeah, perfect. And I will put all that information, including where you can find Kristin, in the notes and in the captions everywhere that you will see this.
Amazing.
So, Kristin, I always kind of like to start with the same question. And there's kind of a rumor out there. I even heard a duo that's got a song about the fact that men don't like to date funny women. What's your take on that? Because you've been married a long time. Have you always?
That's an interesting question. Maybe if you're like a male comedian, you might not want to date a female because everyone knows that women are funnier, and male do tend to be a little more sensitive than non-comedians who are male. I don't agree with that statement. I actually think I think men are attracted to funny women. I really do. I know my husband, he's actually more of the quiet, funny type, like he's not overtly funny like me, but I think he does appreciate my humor. Now, we've been together a long time, so I don't know if it's different from generation to generation. I'm a Gen Xer. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I guess it comes down to, what are you looking for in a woman? And do you want to have a woman who's gorgeous, but maybe not a lot of brains, or not a good sense of humor? Or do you want to have someone that's maybe a little more well-rounded, but also very funny? I don't know. I think more men probably love funny women than not.
No, I was about to say though, it's kind of rare though to have like the two of us here, gorgeous, well-rounded, funny women. Like that's like a
100%. I know.
Every woman I have on the show is the same thing. So I don't know. We're gonna need to get bigger sticks to beat them up with.
I'm married, but I'm not dead, right? Like, I can still window shop, right?
Oh, absolutely. The window shopping, especially the window shopping, is the best part. Unless you've got a good one, you've already got trained at home.
I do.
Okay, what we're going to do is we are going to go to the wheel and let it guide our conversation today. So let's see what the Wheel of Disasters, Dating Disasters, Marriage Edition has for us today.
Oh, I'm excited. Oh, this is fun.
Every color comes from three.
Okay, so this one is mind reading fail.
God.
Okay.
Very relatable.
So this is, has there been like one kind of memorable time for you where maybe you were thinking something or you wanted something and you maybe like assumed that, your partner was in on the same sort of mind melt, or maybe even a family event where you thought, we're on the same page and maybe you weren't?
Oh my God. Yeah, actually, my husband's proposal to me. That's a perfect example. And just so you know, I am definitely the passive aggressive one in the relationship, and I do expect him still to read my mind. But when we were dating, he's Jewish and I'm not, and so obviously he was celebrating Hanukkah and not Christmas. And it's tradition to have these little dreidels, and he knew that I was expecting him to propose that Christmas, but he didn't exactly. It's not that it's not that he didn't read my mind, but I really wanted him to do it by a certain day, and that day came and went. And I was like, okay, but rather than me like say to him like, hey, are we like shit or get off the pot? I was very, very passive aggressive with him, right? And then after that, he would give me these little dreidels, right? So that was like custom that you give like a little dreidel, you play with dreidels. So usually like if, for little kids, it's one present per day. So it's 8 days, right? So every day, like I was like, okay, we're going to my parents for Christmas and he still hasn't proposed. Like this is going to be a disaster because I was dealing with pressure from my mother. And every day he would give me this little dreidel and it would be like little things, but not a ring, right? It would be like batteries. I'm like, what do I do with, like, what do I want to do with batteries? What is this for? Like a sex toy? Turns out that, yeah, right. And he was actually giving me little hints towards the bigger present at the end. And so through, he gives me like, a candy ring. And I was just getting so pissed off and I was not seeing the hints. And I was just like, why can't you read my mind? Why can't you do this? And then finally, the day before we went to see my parents, I opened up the last dreidel and the ring was inside. So it was kind of a nice romantic, but the whole 8 days I was extremely pissed off.
8 days of torture.
8 days of torture, 7 days of torture. The 8th one was like,
7
I was
days.
ready to leave him. I really was. I was like, what is this?
Oh my
Why is
gosh.
he playing with me?
And how long had you been together by that point? How long had you been dating?
4 years.
4 years. Okay, yeah. So you were ready.
I was ready. And we've been together now 25 years. So
yeah. Okay. Now you mentioned pressure from your mom. And I know that you in your comedy mention your mom quite a bit, right? How that sort of when you were dating, either whether it was with your current husband or just when you were bringing boyfriends home, how was your mom through that? Was she one of these like cool moms, like bring your boyfriend over, we're gonna hang out, or was she like much more traditional, like I don't like anybody for my daughter?
Far from cool. My parents hated the majority of my boyfriends, to be honest. And I don't know if it was that they didn't think they were good enough for me or they weren't, successful enough or what have you. My parents did really like Dave, but certainly like because it was an interfaith marriage, that caused a lot of issues. My mom had this sort of idea that my parents were going to walk me down the aisle of a church, and we did not get married in a church. And my mom had in her mind, we ended up having a Jewish ceremony, even though I didn't convert. And so it was very painful. It's very hard when your parents are paying for most of the wedding and they have these expectations, right?
Yeah.
And I do poke fun a lot at my parents, especially my mom in my comedy, because she is a character. I mean, now they love Dave, they do, but it took some, getting used to.
It took time.
Mm-hmm.
See, I meant to ask you. I know I saw you the other day, and you had mentioned something about your marriage and being interfaith, and I wondered, how that was, because that can get complicated. The reason it gets complicated between parents is usually because of the families. The couples can usually figure it out, but it's managing those expectations.
For sure. Yeah,
or something. Okay, but he's well loved and well received. And
and his parents were always very accepting of me, so that was nice. I think it was a little. I mean, not all his family members initially were. Like he had this crazy aunt who refused to come to the wedding and wrote very emphatically no on the card that you send back when you get the invitation.
Wow.
And it wasn't until she got dementia later on in life and she forgot that I wasn't Jewish, that she was really nice to me. That's how we have to solve all these racial tensions, is just through dementia, really.
I think the saving grace, though, is I feel like I know it happened to me, and either I've heard other people say that when we meet you, and then when we hear that your husband's Jewish, we just easily assume that you're Jewish as well. Yeah,
that's right.
A big Jewish energy. Is that what you've got?
Yeah, I mean, I recently came out, as not being Jewish.
Yes, not being Jewish. Yeah.
I'm Jewish by penetration only. But people are a little bit surprised. Like, my name's Kristin. They're like, but you're neurotic and you're a comedian. And I'm like, that's true. That's true.
So we are going to move into another wheel and see where it's going to take us next.
Oh, I'm so excited. I love this.
There's not a lot left here because I don't want to duplicate
on my atmosphere. It's great.
Okay, so we have date night gone
Oh,
wrong. Now,
okay.
this could be a date night, or it could be a previous date night. Have you ever had sort of that dating disaster?
Oh, definitely. I'm just trying to think of like which disaster I should reference. Uh,
Yeah.
I know that like, oh my gosh, actually, this is kind of a funny story. When I was in my 20s, I was once dating three men at once, which was maybe not, I shouldn't be saying that, but I
It
had
wasn't
met three guys. Yeah,
right?
I was
Everybody's
struggling.
sure. Yeah.
I was playing the field, you know?
Yeah.
And I once confused dates, and I left to go meet this one guy I was dating who happened to be in Burlington or something. And that's another thing I would say is don't travel for a man, make him come to you. But in this instance, it was probably a good thing that I did because I left, and the other guy, like one of the three guys that I was dating, showed up at my house to pick me up, and I had my dates confused, and I wasn't there. And my mom was like, "Oh, she's on a date."
No.
And this other guy was like, "We were supposed to go out." Anyway, and then my mom, like I got home, it was before the, cell phones. My mom was like, this guy, I won't name names. I don't even know if I can remember which one of the three it was. This guy showed up at 7 and said, "You guys have plans." I was like, oh my God, I was super mortified.
Oh.
So, I mean, I guess you could call it, I don't know if that was a failure as much as a success. Like, I kind of like to have a couple different people just in case something didn't work out with this
At
person.
least you got caught, Kristen.
Yeah,
Let's
I
say it.
got
You got
caught. I got
caught.
caught. And I would
Yeah.
also, and another thing that probably made it worse is I would tell each one probably different lies. Like I wasn't very honest about the fact that I was dating other people, right? And I guess
Yeah.
it was just like the people pleaser in me. I just didn't want to disappoint them and I didn't want them to feel sad. But I would catch myself in these ridiculous lies, like as to why I couldn't go out. You know what I mean? Rather than just saying,
Yeah.
hey, I don't want to be exclusive, I would just make up something like I broke my toe, you know?
Yeah.
And then the guy would call a couple days later, my mom would pick up again before cell phones. And he's like, "Oh, I was just calling to see how Kristen's toe was." My mom would be like, "Her toe is
Oh
fine."
no. Yeah. And those
So
days you had to share a phone with your
you had to
parents.
share a phone. There was one
Oh.
phone line. So my mom talked more with the guys I was dating than I did on the phone sometimes, right? So yeah, I didn't like I wasn't very successful in playing the game
That's
because I didn't know how to lie, right? I mean, I lied, but I wasn't a very successful liar. I think I'd be way more successful at it now. Although now I'm at an age where I would probably be very honest, so.
Well, that's the thing. You do learn to kind of. I've talked to everybody I've talked to have said this. You got to own your own shit, right? And I find like if you're gonna do something, just do it, and it's fine. Like whatever. Not everybody's gonna like it, but that's fine. You'll find your people, the people that'll pull up with your quirks and your weirdness. But when you go around just trying to behave the way you think you should all the time, that stuff will kill you early. Like that's
Yeah,
the stuff
and
that'll.
that's another great piece of advice for anyone in this dating world, especially people who are younger, who haven't quite figured out who they are yet. Don't try to be the person you think that person wants you to be because it never works. I've done
I
that too.
I wish I think my advice for people is like I think you've heard my story. So all my friends have been married forever. And then when I found myself single 5 years ago, what I should have done was find my tribe of women to get like advice from
Mhm.
because all my friends couldn't really give me advice either because they've all married people they went to high school with as well. So they haven't
Oh,
really had that dating experience, right? Because in my conversation with Talia, I found out that I probably repelled some of the men that I dated because she was saying how when like she pays for the bill or pays for her half, that is signaling very strongly that she's not interested. I used to offer to pay for half all the time, like all the time. And now when you're saying like don't travel for a man, like I learned that lesson because I used to be I thought it was nice. And then one time I drove to Scarborough. To Scarborough, I mean, I'm all the way in the West End, drove all the way out to Scarborough, and then he sent me to gas station to buy rolly papers.
oh my God.
And
Oh, that's a big red flag.
oh yeah, and then so I stopped seeing him, and then one night he messaged me one of those like, what do you do in messages? And I'm like, to go to Scarborough to get stuff. You know, to go all the way, driving all the way to Scarborough for nothing. Like I'm done now. So now it's like, no, you're coming to me or I'm not going anywhere.
Exactly. That's the way it should be. Now that I have a 19-year-old daughter, I mean, she is way more like self-confident than I was at that age, but she makes everyone come to her.
Yeah, absolutely. And then as she should, as she should. Okay, we are going to move to our this or that segment. And with this one, I'm going to ask you to make a choice between two things. It'll tell us a little bit about you. Don't overthink it. And I gotta look all the way over here for them today. Okay, so matching pajamas or never?
Never. God.
Never? No. Okay. Um, when you ask for his opinion, do you want the honest opinion or you want him to be safe?
Actually, now I do. I want the honest opinion. I didn't always want honest feedback. I realize now feedback is a gift. I usually just wanted, in the past, I would want to hear what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, but now, but yeah, Cougar
Yeah.
wants to know the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the truth is hard, right? And I think one of the things I realized as I get older is feedback really is a gift. And when I was younger, I looked at all feedback as criticism, right? Or
Yes.
I also confuse like asking someone's opinion with like, no, validate my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I don't do that anymore, but that's something I used to do for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've learned to, if I'm just looking for validation, to put it out front. Like to basically just say, I do that a lot with my group chat when I complain about relationships and stuff. Sometimes I just need somebody to agree with me that I'm
Yeah.
not the red flag, that it's them. And I'll put that
Right
right out front. Okay, so next, let's talk this through or let's pretend it never happened.
Oh God. I would say talk it through because pretending something never happened is just repressing it and it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. 100%. And again, that's something I'm learning now, not when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, no, I know so much, right? So much that like you kind of see now so clearly. Okay. Who apologizes first?
Oh
You or
God,
him?
me,
Yeah.
all the time.
Who
Yeah,
starts the fights first? Who
me,
starts? Yeah.
me.
Think of you if you're starting the fights and then also
I'm
apologize.
starting the fights and I am apologizing. Now, sometimes he will start the fight, but mostly it is me. But
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times, I'm the one apologizing.
Okay. What is the most sort of petty thing that you guys fight about on a regular basis?
This is really funny. This is a new one. If, oh my God, if my husband ever watches it, he's going to be mortified. So our daughter is at university
Mhm.
and we're both very close to her. Sometimes it feels a little bit like we're competing for her
Oh yeah.
attention. So if he finds out that I am at home and I've been speaking to her, he gets like, we have this argument about how like, well, why didn't you tell me that you were on the phone? And I'm like, so every time she calls, I'm supposed to like be like, hey, your daughter's on the phone. He's like, yes. So, I mean, is it petty? I think it's a little petty, but I kind of understand it too. He misses her. And I think he just doesn't want to like bombard her with too many calls. So we're sort of trying to kill two birds with one stone. But, sometimes girls want to talk to girls. Maybe she doesn't always want to talk to her dad. I'm like, yeah, Sarah's on the phone. She's talking about her period. You want to join in?
Yeah. And how, I mean, you have like a daughter and a son, right? Do you
Yeah.
have? Yeah, okay. How are you sort of with them dating? Because your son's of dating age as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, my son does have a serious girlfriend, and he's 16. I think it's really important that like you met your ex-husband in high school, right? I didn't meet my husband till I was turning 30, right? So that there's a big difference there. And I think it is important to go, like if you meet your high school sweetheart, you meet your high school sweetheart. I know people who got married, like, they started dating when they were 15, they're still together. But I do think like I want them to experience different relationships. I do think it's really important. And, my daughter was in a pretty serious relationship when she was like younger, when she was 16. And I said, there's lots of guys out there. Like, I felt like she thought this was the one that she was going to marry.
Mhm.
Right? And they ended up breaking up before she went to university and he went to university, which was a really good thing. Right. So I
Mhm.
just think the most important thing is I mean, it sounds cheesy, but love yourself and appreciate yourself. And if you can do that, then you're ready for a relationship. That's what I usually say. I try to be very supportive.
Yeah. I find it's like when I think back to when I started dating my ex and then got married, I don't think there's anything anybody could have said to me that would have changed my mind, which is tough, right? Because
Yeah,
even though and I think at the time there's nothing quite like that young all in love, right? Like I
I
wish
know.
it was like that forever. Like it always was like that.
Heart,
It's just
like the
so
heart
intense.
flutters, the palms get
Yeah,
sweaty.
just
You
so
do lose that. You lose that in a
yeah.
25-year relationship, right?
Yeah, so that stuff's great, but I see how part of what contributed to part of the demise of our marriage eventually was that we lost our individuality in that marriage and that being together and then having kids and being parents. And
Yeah.
then that's why I think it hits a lot of women when they hit 40. And it's because their kids are a little bit older and suddenly you start being like, oh, I'm doing my own thing. And then it's like, who are you? Like what? Like I'm
Yes.
you're right, and so that changes. So it's good
That's
advice that you're giving your kids. It's like my
well, that's a really good point, right? Your individuality. Like I definitely found when I was younger, I probably gave away my power, as they say, a lot more, and my sense of self. Like if I was dating someone who was really into tennis, oh, I'm now into
I
tennis.
like tennis. Yeah,
Right? If I was dating someone who loves sports cars, oh, me too. And now I'm like, I can say, hey, like my husband's a big skier. I'm like, you know what? I don't really like skiing. I don't have to go. You go. But you're right. It is really important to have your individual interests.
yeah. Even though right now one of the top things that's important for me in dating is finding somebody that'll come to my shows. They don't have to come to all my shows, right? Like they don't need to come
Yeah.
along with me everywhere. But I do want somebody that if I have like a big show, when you have your big
Yes.
shows, right? I want somebody
100%.
who wants to be there. I really do.
You want that support. And if they're not interested, that's a red flag.
Yes,
Because you're
exactly.
being passionate about this is something you're making a go of. And if they can't support that, then that is not the person for you.
Yeah, exactly. I know some people who do stuff and their partner's never anywhere to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have to I'll give credit just because I've been talking about my ex a lot in my comedy and maybe not such a positive way. He was very supportive in that sense because I was doing improv for a long time and he would show up. And my eldest son comes to my stuff, which is very
Oh,
not all
that's
of it, but he'll show up to some of my stuff. It's just nice to have the friendly face and
it is. Like my husband is very supportive. He does come to some of my shows, like not a lot. He does like a lot of stuff for my son. Like my son plays hockey, so he's like taking him to hockey all the time. So it's good to have like you do have to have that support 100% because as you know, we can be out a lot. It's a lot, right? It's like
it
you're
does take a
both
lot.
working day jobs, and then we've got our evening shows, and we've got our open mics, and we've got
Yeah.
lots going on.
Yeah, it's funny because I had actually stopped dating for a little while and now I'm trying to date again. And it's the first time I used to like sort of make myself available because my work schedule is pretty flexible and I just have a flexible schedule because my kids are older. And then just recently I had one for the first time where he said to me, "Oh, okay, I'd love to get together. When are you free?" And I'm like, Sunday morning. Right? Like I was like, wow, like this whole week there's something
Something
constantly
going
happening.
on, yeah.
So anyway, that but that's just the way
That's
life's
great.
gonna be,
But you're
right?
not going to rearrange, you're not going to
Yeah,
cancel a
no,
show for
no,
someone,
there's no way. Yeah, no, there's no way. I might rearrange a parent teacher interview, but not a
Oh,
show.
yeah, your kids, don't like prioritize the comedy over your children always.
Exactly. Always, always. Absolutely. Um, okay, so we are going to start wrapping things up, but what I would like from you, you've touched on that a little bit. It's like your number one relationship or dating advice that you want to leave our viewers with?
I mean, okay, so I think I would say this is based on my personal experience. So we already talked about the individualism that's really important in maintaining your own interests. I also think don't move in so fast, take like enjoy your separate spaces unless it's like, okay, it's really hard to afford a place in this city at the moment, whether you're renting or you own a place or what have you. I
Yeah.
get for economic reasons, that's maybe a little bit different. But if you can afford to maybe maintain two separate, and again, it depends on your goals, right? Like I know people who are married and they actually live in two separate apartments, but like I think it's great to have your own space, appreciate your space. Like when I first met my husband, I had just bought my first condo. It was this 500 square foot condo. I absolutely loved it. I loved it so much. I mean, I still daydream about it sometimes. Wish I had a little pied à terre, if I could afford.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And I didn't want to live with him because not because I didn't love him eventually, but because I wanted my own space. You know what I mean? Especially for young people, like you got your whole life. Like you're gonna appreciate that space. And when you don't have that space, you're gonna like really appreciate when you have it. So I think that would be my number one advice.
Yeah, you have your own space. I like the idea of even once you're married, having your own little spaces.
Exactly. And I know it's hard, especially if you're living in Toronto, right? And
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
so difficult, and it's just really hard to afford anything, whether it's renting or owning. But if you can carve out a little space for yourself, and if you do cohabitate, then that's great. Maybe it's a garage, maybe it's a park. I don't know. Maybe it's your backyard in a tent.
Just a little space somewhere. No, absolutely. Thank you so much, Kristin. And now, tell us where people can find you, where they can follow you, and tell us about the other Cougar show that you've got coming up.
I will. So you can follow me on Instagram at Kristin Doucet. I haven't yet ventured into TikTok. I will at some point, I guess. It'll probably be the same name. I'm on Facebook as well, but I promote pretty much everything through Instagram. We're hoping to make this Cougar comedy night, which is called a Mama Needs a Drink, like a quarterly show, maybe even every 2 months at some point.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. We will hopefully have a show announcement at the first show on Sunday, and I think it'll be in February. And then I'm like, I'm all over the place. I'm at Comedy Bar West. I'm at Back Room. I've got a show.
And you host the show. There's an open mic that you host.
That's right. It's actually tomorrow. Thank you for the reminder. That is a really fun open mic. I host it monthly, and it's at a brew pub called Red Tape, which is at Main and Gerard. They're a lovely couple who own it. It's a great environment. It's a real community place. It's a community hang, fabulous beer. We usually get about 21, 22 comedians who come out. So I usually post the sign up like about 24 hours in advance. I actually just posted it before our meeting. And then there's always 4 bucket spots as well. So it's just really nice because everybody seems very supportive, and we always get great comedians.
Yeah, I've been dying to get out there. Something always happens that I can't
There's
make
always
it.
something.
But I always have so much FOMO from looking at the pictures and the videos that people post the day after. It looks like a great space and looks like a ton of fun.
It is. It is.
Thank you so much for joining me, Kristin.
Thank
And
you.
I'll let everyone know, keep everybody posted on Kristin. If you're watching this on YouTube or on Instagram, don't forget to give me a follow at Diana B Comedy as well. And we will see you next time on